Hello everyone. Welcome to Rocks 95. My name is Gavin Stanford. Shelley Snob has the night off. In The Matrix, when Morpheus tells Neo that many are not ready to unplug from the system, he is speaking to a profound truth about human nature, which reflects both the story's fictional world and the real-life metaphysical condition of society. The system in The Matrix is a metaphor for the illusion, an artificial construct designed to control and subdue humanity by giving them a false sense of reality, much like how many live today trapped in the illusions of society, unable or unwilling to see beyond the veil of lies, manipulation, and control. Morpheus understands that, for many, the comfort of the system is preferable to the unsettling and often painful process of awakening to truth. People have become conditioned, through years, sometimes generations, of indoctrination, to accept the world as it is presented to them. To unplug from this system is to face a harsh, sometimes unbearable, reality that everything they thought was real is, in fact, a lie. This requires courage, a willingness to embrace discomfort, and most importantly, the readiness to let go of what one thought to be the truth. Morpheus also knew that those still plugged into the system are often its most ardent defenders. Why? Because the system has become their identity. Their sense of self, their beliefs, their values, all are tied to the illusions and constructs of that system. To threaten it is to threaten everything they hold dear. For many, it is easier to defend the system than to confront the possibility that they have been deceived. When Morpheus says that many will fight to protect it, he's speaking to a psychological truth: cognitive dissonance. When presented with information that contradicts deeply held beliefs, people experience discomfort. Instead of questioning the belief or the system itself, they will often reject the new information to protect their ego and sense of security. This is why people who are still plugged into the system will vehemently defend it, even when evidence suggests that it is corrupt, failing, or based on lies. For those who are not ready to unplug, the system represents safety, order, and familiarity. It's the comfortable prison of the mind, and to face the truth would mean losing not only this sense of safety but also their role within the system. The illusion provides them with structure and predictability, and they will fight to preserve it, even at the cost of their freedom and truth. In today's world, this concept is strikingly relevant. The system can represent various elements of modern society, political ideologies, economic structures, societal norms, and even religious dogma. Those who cling to the system often do so out of fear, ignorance, or a desire for control. The system, through media, education, and government institutions, programs people from an early age to accept it as reality. It offers a narrative. If you work hard, follow the rules, and accept your place within it, you will succeed, be happy, and fulfilled. But we know this is not true for everyone. The awakening process requires breaking away from these narratives and questioning the very foundation of what is accepted as truth. This is the essence of Hermeticism, the practice of questioning the surface to find the deeper truths hidden beneath. However, those who cling to the system will often ridicule, attack, or ostracize anyone who dares question its authority. Why? Because to question it is to question the very fabric of their own reality. Unplugging from the system, much like in The Matrix, is a metaphor for waking up from the collective dream that has been sold to the masses. It's about peeling back the layers of illusion to see the world as it truly is, rather than how we've been told to see it. Yet, this process is not easy. It involves dismantling years of conditioning and societal programming. It means facing uncomfortable truths about the world and, more importantly, about ourselves. For those ready to unplug, the journey is one of liberation, of freedom from the mental and spiritual bondage that the system imposes. But for many others, the fear of the unknown, the discomfort of confronting deep-seated beliefs, and the pain of letting go of long-held illusions are too overwhelming. The nature of the Matrix is a metaphor for control. In the context of Hermetics, the system represents more than just societal control. It represents the materialistic, limited, and external focus that keeps people trapped in ignorance of their true nature as divine consciousness. The system fosters division, fear, and separation. It teaches people to focus on external validation, material success, and power over others. But in truth, as Hermetics teaches, we are all connected, and the real power lies in knowing and mastering the self. To unplug from the system means to transcend these lower, ego-driven desires and awaken to the deeper spiritual truths that govern the universe. It's about recognizing that the external world is but a reflection of the internal state. When we unplug, we reclaim our sovereignty and align ourselves with the higher principles of wisdom, truth, and love. But those who cling to the system remain blind to this truth, often because the system rewards conformity and punishes deviation. They see anyone who unplugs as a threat, not because those individuals are dangerous, but because they challenge the false security the system provides. The strongest weapon of the system is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of losing status, fear of being wrong. This fear causes people to defend the illusion vehemently. They project this fear outward, attacking anyone who threatens to disrupt the illusion they've built their lives upon. This is why Morpheus says they will fight to protect it. They are not fighting for the system because they believe in it. They fight because they fear what lies beyond it. They fear the truth. In Hermetic philosophy, fear is rooted in ignorance, and the antidote to fear is knowledge. Gnosis, the direct experience of truth. When one begins to see beyond the illusion, the fear starts to dissolve. The system's control weakens because its power lies in keeping people in the dark, disconnected from their true essence. Those who cling to it do so not because the system serves them, but because they do not know who they are without it. For those who have unplugged or are in the process of doing so, it is crucial to remember that not everyone is ready. Much like Neo, we must navigate the world with the awareness that many are still prisoners of their own minds, held captive by the illusion. But the task is not to force anyone to awaken. Rather, it is to continue living in truth, as beacons of light, planting seeds for those who are ready to see beyond the veil. Morpheus's words hold an eternal truth. Many are not ready to unplug because they are not ready to face the chaos of the real world, where their perceptions, beliefs, and identities must be re-examined. And those who cling to the system will continue to defend it until they find the courage to look beyond it. Credit Mike Ellis' Facebook post. I choose to add a bit more to this thread if you will. The original post provides a lens through which to view how political parties, regardless of their label, push their own agendas and perpetuate corruption within the political system. Much like the system in the Matrix creates an illusion of reality to control its inhabitants, political parties often create an illusion of choice between two fundamentally similar options. This illusion distracts from the underlying corruption and systemic issues that both parties may perpetuate. Individuals, deeply invested in their chosen party, experience cognitive dissonance when faced with evidence of corruption or failure within their side. Instead of questioning the system, they defend it, as admitting flaws would undermine their identity and sense of security. This dynamic ensures that many remain entrenched in the political system, defending it despite its failings, thus perpetuating the status quo and avoiding a deeper examination of the broader issues at play. With more context, we get a more understanding from another character. Agent Smith's speech in The Matrix offers a stark critique of humanity and its inherent flaws. When he describes humans as a virus, or a disease, on the planet, he is articulating a view of human nature that is critical of our perceived destructive tendencies. From this perspective, humanity's constant expansion and consumption reflect a parasitic relationship with the world, consuming resources and causing environmental damage. Agent Smith's analogy highlights a belief that human behavior is inherently flawed, driven by an insatiable need for growth and control, which ultimately leads to self-destruction and environmental degradation. In a broader sense, Smith's speech can be seen as a critique of human systems and institutions. Just as a virus disrupts and destroys its host, human systems, political, economic, and social, are often critiqued for causing harm and instability, whether through corruption, inequality, or unsustainable practices. By portraying humanity in this negative light, Smith underscores the consequences of these systems' failures, suggesting that human nature and behavior are fundamentally problematic and that systemic issues are an extension of our inherent flaws. This perspective challenges the notion of human progress and questions whether our institutions and behaviors are capable of achieving true harmony or merely continue to perpetuate dysfunction and destruction. Agent Smith's speech in The Matrix offers a scathing critique of humanity. In a similar vein, the concept of a deep state or global elites often suggests that a hidden network of powerful individuals or groups manipulates political, economic, and social systems to maintain control and advance their own agendas. This perspective posits that these elites operate behind the scenes, shaping policies and narratives to benefit themselves while keeping the general population subdued and misinformed. Much like Agent Smith's view of humanity, this idea critiques the inherent corruption and manipulation within the systems of power, suggesting that the global elites perpetuate their dominance by controlling information and maintaining the status quo. Both Agent Smith's speech and the notion of global elites critique the inherent flaws and corruptions within systems of power. Smith sees humanity itself as the problem, reflecting a deep skepticism about human nature and its capacity for positive change. The deep state theory, on the other hand, focuses on the actions of powerful elites who exploit systemic weaknesses for their own benefit. In both cases, there is a recognition of a fundamental problem within the system, whether it's the flawed nature of humanity or the manipulative actions of powerful individuals. Ultimately, both perspectives challenge the integrity of existing systems, calling into question whether true reform is possible when those in control benefit from maintaining the current state of affairs. They highlight the difficulties in achieving genuine change in a world where underlying corruption and manipulation are deeply entrenched, suggesting that overcoming these issues requires a fundamental shift in how power and influence are distributed and exercised. The idea of global elites contributing to the destruction of our planet can be compared to the role of the machines in the Matrix, which also serve as a metaphor for systemic exploitation and environmental degradation. In the context of the global elites, these individuals or groups are often perceived as prioritizing their own interests and profits over the health and sustainability of the planet. This includes practices such as environmental degradation through pollution, deforestation, and unsustainable resource extraction. Their influence over political and economic systems can lead to policies that favor short-term gains and corporate interests, often at the expense of long-term ecological balance and social equity. This behavior contributes to climate change, loss of biodiversity, and widespread ecological damage, reflecting a broader pattern of exploitation and neglect. In the Matrix, the machines represent a similar dynamic of exploitation. They have created a simulated reality, the Matrix, to pacify and control humanity while using their biological energy as a power source. The machine's actions can be seen as a direct parallel to the actions of global elites in that both involve manipulating and exploiting a population for their own benefit. The machine's systemic control over humans, keeping them in ignorance and complacency, mirrors how powerful entities can manipulate systems and narratives to maintain their dominance, often resulting in significant harm to both people and the environment. Both the machines and the elites exemplify a parasitic relationship with their respective systems. The machine's exploitation of human energy reflects a literal and metaphorical draining of resources, while the global elite's actions represent a similar form of extraction and consumption, depleting environmental and social resources for their gain. In both cases, there is a disconnect between the needs of the larger population and the actions of those in power, resulting in widespread harm and degradation. Neo's speech in The Matrix is a pivotal moment that reflects his transformation from a passive participant in the system to an active challenger of its constraints. In his speech, Neo acknowledges the pervasive and insidious nature of the Matrix, describing it as an oppressive system that controls and limits human potential. He speaks to the idea that the Matrix is a construct that blinds people to their true reality, trapping them in a false sense of security and control. To address these issues, a fundamental shift in how power and resources are managed is necessary. Just as Neo's fight against the machines symbolizes the struggle to break free from an oppressive system, efforts to challenge and reform the actions of global elites require a concerted effort to create more equitable and sustainable systems. This involves increasing transparency, holding powerful entities accountable, and fostering a collective commitment to environmental stewardship and social justice. Neo's speech is characterized by its direct confrontation of the Matrix and the system it represents. He calls out the illusion that most people are living in, emphasizing that it is not merely a physical construct but a psychological and emotional one as well. By recognizing the Matrix as a form of control, Neo challenges the very foundation of the system, exposing its limitations and failures. Moreover, Neo's speech embodies a call to awakening and self-realization. He urges others to see beyond the facade of their current reality and to confront the uncomfortable truth of their situation. This confrontation is not just about rejecting the system but about embracing the possibility of change and the potential for a deeper understanding of existence. Neo's willingness to defy the system, even at great personal risk, signifies a commitment to truth and the pursuit of a more authentic reality. In essence, Neo's speech represents the breaking of mental and spiritual chains imposed by the Matrix. It symbolizes the potential for individuals to transcend their limitations, confront their fears, and seek a higher truth beyond the illusions they have been conditioned to accept. Through his words, Neo embodies the transformative power of awakening and the courage required to challenge and overcome systemic oppression. Ladies and gentlemen, today, we confront a profound challenge: the need to transcend the systemic illusions and controls that shape our world, much like the Matrix portrayed in the iconic film. As we analyze the insights from Agent Smith's critique, Morpheus's observations, and Neo's transformative journey, we uncover a roadmap for change that can lead us to a more enlightened and just society. First and foremost, we must enhance our awareness and education. To dismantle the illusions that constrain us, we must foster critical thinking and media literacy. By encouraging a questioning attitude towards societal norms and political narratives, we empower individuals to see beyond the surface and recognize the manipulations at play. Next, we need to focus on empowerment and agency. By equipping people with the knowledge and tools to participate actively in civic life, we enable them to challenge corruption and advocate for transparency. This active engagement is crucial for breaking free from passive acceptance and fostering systemic change. Systemic reform is another vital component. We must address the structural issues within our political, economic, and social systems. This involves advocating for transparency, accountability, and fairness, ensuring that these systems serve the common good rather than perpetuating inequality and exploitation. Cultural change is equally important. We must shift societal values towards empathy, integrity, and collective responsibility. By challenging norms that prioritize individual gain over communal well-being, we can cultivate a culture that values truth, compassion, and mutual respect. Personal transformation also plays a crucial role. Just as Neo's journey reflects the importance of confronting personal limitations, individuals must engage in continuous self-improvement and self-awareness. This personal growth contributes to broader societal change. Finally, systemic change requires collaborative action. Building alliances across political, social, and economic sectors amplifies our efforts and creates a united front against systemic oppression. Grassroots movements and collaborative initiatives harness diverse perspectives and resources to drive meaningful change. In conclusion, by integrating these strategies, enhancing education, empowering individuals, reforming systems, fostering cultural change, embracing personal transformation, and promoting collaborative action, we can work towards dismantling the illusions of control and building a more transparent, equitable, and enlightened society. The path ahead is challenging, but it is through this concerted effort that we can transcend the constraints of the system and realize a more just and fulfilling world. Thank you.